We are live. Welcome to my thoughts on Alien Earth Season 1, Episode 3, Metamorphosis. The episode is rated TVMA, so will this video be? There will be spoilers for everything Alien franchise, well, any movie and show leading up to and including this episode. And I absolutely love this episode. So, yeah, I think I'll start by just noting couple of, basically everything I say in this video about the hybrids is going to be about how, they, the autists, let's see, them being somewhat like children still, minds of children, and the autism spectrum coding, which again I say with love, a lot of wonderful autistic people. Let's see. I guess I'll start with one thing that only really fits the just so I don't have to say it every single time I bring up something about them, or just do several minutes of just me talking about that and nothing else. But one thing I will note that felt much more specifically autistic coded. The hypersensitivity to noise that Wendy has there at the end. That's something you hear about and read about, that autistic people have. Let's see if we can. Oh, right. Yeah, before I get chronological up in here, let's start by noting that this was actually the first of these three episodes that did not introduce a new alien. They say in this episode that there are 5. Now, we know one of them is, of course, the xenomorph. We met 2 in the first 2 episodes, so there's 2 more that we do. Or I guess the Venus flytrap is one of the 5, but I'm not sure what the last of them is. I guess we just haven't met that one yet. And I do appreciate, I think if they just did episode after episode where every single time we meet a new alien, that would get old. So I think they did it right. I mean, there's probably, as mentioned, I feel like there's at least one that we haven't met. I have said everything I need to about that. But the fact that the first 2 episodes both introduce a new one, and then this one, I feel like we're somewhat settling in. The next episode, I feel like is gonna be Morrow trying to get the one who's terrible at keeping secrets. Although in this one he did okay. Getting his help to get into the building, the Prodigy headquarters, and get the species out, to get them back for Yutani. And that is a very interesting. I hadn't expected them to be done with the actual crash site this early, but I mean, the xenomorph was the only really major threat that was still mobile. I mean, the eye thing, that parasite thing, was dangerous, but they got it under control by the second episode, by the end of that episode at least. Then you got the tiny ones that feed on blood. Where are they going? They're going to keep feeding on those corpses for a while, and they were caught by as evidenced in this episode. I think, yes, let's get chronological. So, I really, really like Wendy as, she descends from a long line of Ripley clones, occasionally literal Ripley clones, like there were 8 in Resurrection, Wendy is my favorite, like, non-original, like, original flavor Ripley. Can't really beat that. I'm not sure Sigourney Weaver's ever going to return to the franchise, but Wendy, my favorite Ripley clone. Though I will say, I forget do we even know the number? The one that keeps saying "kill me, please kill me." That felt super relatable to when I watched Covenant. So that one's like second favorite. But yeah, seriously though, Wendy so much better than. Oh right, did I mention I might be spoiling the AVP movies as well. But yeah, you know, both of those have alien clones, and Prometheus has at least two. Covenant has one. You know, I did like the Romulus one as well. Yeah, I think that does pretty well cover. Let's see. It was really cool watching her run and catch up to, and very clever because like she saw where it jumped to. She had to run some. She couldn't quite jump that gap, but she could find that place, and him saying, you know, please don't, it's a trap, you know, and she still keeps moving because you know that the coding I mentioned, you know, just trying to do the right thing under, you know, even if there might be really negative consequences, you know, deal with the consequences later. A lot of neurotypicals don't. But does that sound? Obviously, I have nothing against neurotypicals, like as a group. Just noting differences. That's all. I think I'm not even necessarily saying that's like the best thing to do in this circumstance. Anyway, great to see the slime on, you know, which that is the thing. Like, is this the first time in live action that we've seen the slime be made? Like, other than, you know, I know I have watched the director's cut, I want to say it is, of the original 1979 Alien. That one has it made by, but otherwise it's like slightly unclear. Do they make the slime? Does the Queen make the slime? You know, but I am 100% on board with the Alien making the slime, and I already made the Newt reference, you know, straight up, cause, you know, I wonder if Baby Marks from Andor here was also like, it should be illegal for you to do this to a child, as they were applying the slime. But I guess I'll note, I have seen some say, why is this Xeno so dry? They're usually like sopping wet. I don't really know. I don't know if they just didn't think about it or they didn't really want to deal with the mess, because obviously it makes more of a mess. There is some fluid, you know, quite appreciated when it drooled directly onto. Jesus Christ, that was fucked. Anyway, right on his face. Ugh. Ugh. Disgusting. I love this shit. Anyway, yeah. They're doing such a good fucking job with how they handle the xenomorph. So he's saying, you know, it's coming, and then we see it in the thing's called, you know, the part where you enter an exit, the back of the fucking truck, you know, and it's going there, and then, you know, this thing of like, you get behind me, no, I'm a soldier and I'm your older brother, and she's like, I'm not a child anymore, you know, this thing. It's just very very like sibling behavior from both of them. And yeah, the Xeno doesn't quite know what to make of hybrid Wendy. You know, so instead it fucks off. And that actually makes things worse, because like we thought, oh okay, it's coming, you know, and we're thinking, oh, that's, you know, she's gonna cut it with the you know, the sort of sword that she got, you know, by ripping off, you know, well, I guess the faculty, but that movie I don't have as many issues with that movie as others do. Anyway, or I guess she ripped off the paper cutter thing, but yeah, we're expecting her, and we know she's strong, so might be as strong as a Xeno. But the fact that it just leaves, because like, what are they gonna do if they rush for the one exit that there is at that point in the episode to this truck? It could jump them the moment that they leave, and they'd have no defense. I mean, yes, there's two of them, but we've seen Xenos take down way more people than that, and even just one in a short amount of time. They kind of have to stay inside, and it can just attack from above, and yeah, like, because we want the Xeno to be doing shit. We don't want it to be passive. Nobody, like, at this point, who wants a passive Xeno, But we also don't want it overexposed. So the fact that it's like, we're not seeing it, but it is like being terrifying. And it's a scenario we've never seen in one of these movies before. It's usually coming for them. But the fact that it's like moving around elsewhere and, banging on top there, I think it is trying to flush them out. I think it's trying to scare them so that they'll panic, run out, and then it'll jump the first one and attack the second. I mean, is the second one even going to be able to get away before it stabs the second one with its tail, So just, yeah, really, really nicely done. Love seeing smart Xenos. That's a thing. Like, makes them so much fucking scarier, And like sometimes it just feels like, oh, it's just kind of going off instinct. It just doesn't really, not really doing shit that is like super smart. But yeah, I like them smart, man. It's one of my reasons I don't hate Resurrection. There's a lot in that movie that works, in my opinion. And yeah, the Xenos that are like, killing one of the other Xenos so that the acid blood gets them out of the cell. That's, yeah, and the one that like freezes that one person, the one that's a soldier, I guess. Yeah. Makes him so much fucking scarier, man. Anyway, but yeah, she stabs it. Which also, like, yeah, it really is thrown off, because that's the thing, like, Xenos don't usually make, like, major tactical mistakes when they're smart. I mean, the smart depictions, the depictions of them that are smart. But yeah, it doesn't fucking know how to deal with a hybrid, I mean, they also, they're okay with, like, synths. They'll tear a synth apart, no problem. But a hybrid, man, because, like, I am of the opinion that it can tell there's a human mind in there, because that's not the case with the synths. That's like a synthetic mind, AI, basically, and let's see, does it know how to deal with a cyborg? I guess so far I'm not entirely sure if it, but I can imagine that it can also deal with, because, like, flesh, yeah. I think, but yeah, cut, and the acid blood that drops down and starts making a hole through, very reminiscent of the 79 movie. Then a little bit of it gets onto Joe, who like rips off part of his clothes because there's acid on there. Like, I'm sorry, I can never fucking remember. Hicks, I want to say, because Hudson is the Bill Paxton R.I.P. character, right? I'm talking about the Michael Biehn character. For some fucking reason, I'm like Gorman. I can't remember which one is Hicks and which one is Hudson. But yeah, reference to that. And I think, does that pretty well bring us to the yeah, and the Xeno starts knocking over the truck with them inside. Jesus Christ. It's so fucking tense. So much tension in this episode and the first two as well. Tension, suspense, just through the roof. Some of the best tension and suspense in one of the, counting all the movies, because this is the first show. The way this is going, I wouldn't mind if it wasn't the last one. Yeah. Okay, let's see the but yeah, they managed to get out of there, and the thing with the door, and it's so fucking clever with the hook and the thing, and it attacks him, and he goes all the way up in his face and drools on. He's like, get it away from me, and the tongue comes out and gets so fucking up in his face. Awesome, I fucking love it. And that's kids, that's why you shouldn't stick your tongue out at someone in public. It might get hooked. God, I fucking hope no kids are watching. I did say the video is rated CVMA. But yeah, she hooks the tongue. And the thing is, it's still fucking dangerous, because, like, there's that thing about when is an animal the most dangerous? When it's fucking wounded or cornered, It's still dangerous, but it is also, there is a chance that she can, make them safe from it. And it's something we haven't fucking seen before. I think they're doing such a good job. Because, like, technically, this is 2 episodes in a row where someone is able to temporarily subdue a xenomorph one way or another. I think they've done a really great job of making it clear it's still fucking dangerous. That's nothing, man. It's, yeah. Yeah. The thing with the door. And wonderful little bit of visual storytelling, just the camera panning from the door down to the lock mechanism. Now we know, we understand exactly what has to happen. That's also a thing, like, this is not the only recent horror thing where someone had to deal with a door that was too slow or too fast, and, you gotta get to the controls for it. Very nicely done. It's a great source of tension, There are older horror stories as well that use it, but yeah. She manages to get it all the way over there, and then, door starting to closing, almost done. And then the Xeno gets her in there, and then he has to, like, get the door open, and the button isn't fucking working. God damn it. And he has to, like, short it out, and just, yeah. And he manages to get the door open, and then we see, she managed to cut its fucking head off. Like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, she's bleeding from the head and collapses, and they both get yeah. So the let's see, what was the other thing? Yeah. I guess I might as well at this point briefly cover. So yeah, after that, we have the yeah. I'm slightly, no, never mind. I think I'll let's see. Right. Also she already had, hypersensitive hearing, but this is the first time that it bothers her this much, because she was close to the eggs, just last episode without this problem. So, yeah, I think they're gonna explore, what it does, yeah, the way it affects her. Yeah, I think that covers everything for them. So, yeah. When Kirsch gets a fucking call. Right, I really like the thing. Oh, can I watch? Look with your fingers. Oh, it's just decoded, very, very, yeah. And the... Oh, right, I think I forgot to mention, Jesse Gender and, I think it's Council of Geeks, or maybe it was Geek Break Room, Council Break Room. I'm afraid I forget her channel. Vera. They're both great. They did really, really solid videos on the first 2 episodes. Have not watched videos on this episode yet, but yeah. And as I hoped and figured, Jesse did indeed do some trans reading, so that was great. I think, does that bring us to the, what was the next thing? Yeah, right. Yeah, so Kirsch being called. Can I just say, I know I already said it, but Boy Cavalier, goddamn. You know, there's that thing about characters should either be likable or interesting assholes. He is an interesting asshole that I fucking love to hate. Like, god fucking damn, I just want him to shut the fuck up and listen for once. And he just won't, because this is what these tech bros are like, you know? They don't care. And we have got to limit their power before they do too much damage, you know, before the damage becomes irreparable. Yeah. Fuck that book. Irreparable damage. Jesus Christ. Fucking fear-mongering bullshit. I haven't read it, but I have heard enough of its contents. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. You know, he's like, so, Kirsch, you're gonna bring me these bioweapons. And, you know, Kirsch explains what has gone wrong, and like, boy, you agreed to this, remember? You said, sure, send the children in adult bodies that we are not done studying and that keep surprising us. You know, like, this is right after this, like, I don't fucking know, she hacked a robot and the cameras, I don't know what's happening. She's not supposed to be able to do this, and Boy's like, yeah, sure, send them into the crash site that we don't know the full details of. And Kirsch, yeah, he very calmly explains exactly what's, you know, the situation is, and Boy, fucking, he's like, all I'm hearing are excuses. It's like, it's very like Steve Buscemi's character in Fargo, you know, at in the bar, you know, like, yeah, you said that. Well, it is the explanation. What the fuck you want him to say, you know? It's just, yeah. God damn it. And the the bit where, so yeah, he's been standing. One of them's been let's see. Secret Teller has been standing, you know, amongst the eggs. And then, you know, here's a noise, and like, it's one of the other Lost Boys, and, you know, they keep saying bro and fuck and shit, and then they call each other on it, and then they fight for like 2 seconds, and they're like, yeah. Again, the coding as mentioned earlier, and yeah, I like that he said, oh, Wendy went all hunter killer. That's not even a reference to the Alien franchise. That's just like tip of the hat to, I mean, yeah, James Cameron is one of the, you know, one of the people who's contributed the most to this franchise. So yeah, because like, I mean, that is as a reference to Terminator right there. Yeah, I think that does pretty well bring us to. I quite liked the redhead talking about, you know, why are we Lost Boys? Half of us are girls, you know. It's a good point. The answer is sadly patriarchy and misogyny. Right, I also like the bits where they prove they actually read Peter Pan more than I've done. I only watched the films, but yeah. Let's see. Where were we? The redhead pointing out, you know, why don't we get to pick names? Why does she get to be Wendy? And like, I kind of fucking love that it's unclear. There's definitely something going on with her because she was more calm on the plane. I mean, I get, you know, she was one of the ones who was like, even before the body switch, she was kind of sad. You know, she was one of the sadder of the Lost Boys. But this is still of a new level, you know. Ever since the eye parasite, the cat one, the feline eye monster, ever since that got close to her, she's been really, really weirded out. You know, for a while she kept sitting at the, you know, with a knife in her hands and just staring. And now she's past that point, but she's like, yeah, asking these questions, and you know, she walks past. I really love. I think I forgot to mention, because is this the third time we see? I think it might be. Is at least the second. This person that's standing. I mean, I guess it's like pest control. Wish we could get one of those into the White House. I don't know. I mean, it would be like several days of work to get every single pest out of there at this point. But yeah. Let's see. I think that does cover. Let's see. Shit, was that too dehumanizing? I don't mean it like that. I just, they're terrible people is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to compare them to actual fucking insects. Anyway, yeah. The just standing there, just spraying, and this time we do see the face briefly. You know, the gas mask is up, but it's, you know, the person still looks, you know, upset, and it's just, and I the way that it's sort of being treated is just natural occurrence. Like people don't act like, oh no, I don't want to be too close to. It's just like, that's just, you know, because there's something there that's that needs, like, imagine, because the person needs a fucking gas mask. Imagine how intense the shit they're spraying is. What the fuck do they have to spray that for? Like, I'm not saying it's useless necessarily. I'm saying there's something fucking, I don't know, super rats or something. Maybe we need one of the rat catchers to get involved here, but Jesus. But yeah, you know, she's walking down the hall, and she goes into her room, and then she does my favorite fucking thing. At least she does. She stops just short of it, but she's about to, like, poke a finger into her own fucking eyeball. Jesus Christ. And I really love the way that, like, we can tell something's about to get fucked, but we're not sure what. Because, like, Wendy is up and about, and no one's watching her, and it's like, is she okay? And, you know, Redhead is walking around, but you also have the specimen testing. You know, we know, you know, and yeah, in the next episode, we're going to see what went wrong, but, or we'll probably see it go wrong. But yeah, the way that the redhead, like, oh God, I fucking love that. I'm not sure if it's trauma or if the eye creature did actually get some, like, cause like it could be microscopic. We don't fucking know. No, you know, this thing hasn't been studied yet. What if it can leave behind like a trace, and now it can, like, affect her in some way? Maybe it'll grow, you know, because like 79 movie, it's like, oh, you know, the facehugger fell off Kane, great, let's eat to celebrate, and we're gonna go back to cryosleep, and we're gonna be okay. And then, you know, a few minutes later, he's fucking dead. So yeah, because on the other hand, maybe it's trauma, maybe it's Maybelline, we don't know. And I fucking love that. That's we don't even know if there's gonna be anything with her. Maybe the next episode is her, like, talking to someone and recovering emotionally or something. But yeah, it was great, the bit where they hug, you know. Right. Also the bit where, you know, he walks in and they're like, "Are we in trouble?" Yeah, coded. And seriously, fuck some of these guys, people in general, that are like dealing with the hybrids. Like they're so rude and unpleasant to them for no fucking reason. Like, he ends by saying, "Good job, you did well," or something. But he comes in and they're like, "Are we in trouble?" And he's like, "Why? Did you do something wrong?" Seriously, fuck people who act like that. Jesus fucking Christ. It doesn't mean that they did something fucking wrong, you goddamn asshole. Eat shit. Jesus, I hate people like that. Fuck. Moving on. I'm pretty sure the episode is trying to make us hate them, because, like, there's no fucking reason for them to treat the hybrids this way. Let's see. We have, I'm afraid I forget her name, but let's call her Favorite Racer. Yeah, she goes up to Boy Cavalier, and he's, again, just such a goddamn asshole. He is the biggest. He is the king asshole. The asshole lord. The biggest douche in the fucking universe, and bigger than the actual giant douche. And, yeah, fuck the way he talks to her. But yeah, the thing about, Wendy's your favorite. Says who? I thought smart people didn't ask dumb questions. Zinger. That's a zinger. And yeah, like, dude, shut the fuck up. Seriously. What the fuck? With 2 fucking words, he gets under my skin. Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah, and they talk, and she is like, I should be your favorite. I learned French. I have ideas about how to make the world better. Coded. And I fucking love her saying, if I tell them to you, you'll steal them. And for once in his fucking life, I swear, even as a baby, he didn't. For once in his fucking life, he's honest. And he's like, I would steal them, you're right. And she says, I could be you. I could be better than you. And that's one of the things, we are making robots and AI and all this, and it is this thing of like, will they at some point, what's the singularity, is that a thing that's gonna, how do we keep them from replacing us, kind of thing, like, not to be like, what's the word? Shit. God damn. Conspiratorial, by the way, Ryan George is a really fun video on conspiracy theories. But yeah, I thought they're continuing to do a really good job of exploring that. And with Boy Cavalier, we are still seeing, in the Alien franchise, still the case, was, has been since 1979. The corporations are so fucking evil and cold and heartless, and in some ways worse, a bigger threat than the xenomorphs. At least they don't fuck each other over for a percentage. And yeah, it's great to have a wonderfully punchable face. I'm not in favor of violence. Violence should always be the last resort. Only ever last resort. But my God, doesn't have to be a punch. I just want someone to get him to shut up and hand over power to people who have a heart. I think it was Kirsch who pointed out, I don't think it was wise to, send, something you've spent, was it millions on, that hasn't been tested in, just so you could get something new and shiny, and it's like, we're days away from unveiling the hybrids. This is going to change the world. And he's like, well, too much is never enough, though, and that's what they're like. We have to get to a point where we accept corporations are not our friends. The CEOs, the tech bros, the tech billionaires, they don't want us to thrive. They want everything for themselves, and they're gonna keep taking and using us, and we have to fight back. Again, I'm not saying violence. Violence should only ever be the last resort. I'm saying, like, protest peacefully. Get the government to you know, I know right now it looks bleak, but we cannot give up. Yeah, I think, but yeah, you know, he says, you're not my favorite, but you are in the race. You know, worst kind of parent. You know, I feel like one day the hybrids are gonna discover Reddit, if that is still around in 21 something. Which I feel like it probably will be. I think Reddit is going to be like a cockroach. Of, you know, fucking nuke isn't going to kill it. Yeah, the hybrids are going to populate, what the fuck is it called? Raised by Narcissist or something like that, you know. Yeah, worst kind of parent. Pitting the kids against each other, playing favorites, trying to get them to be the favorite. It's extremely, yeah, it's so fucked up. Kind of reminds me of the Children of Thanos. I think that does bring us to perhaps the time I most wanted him to shut the fuck up, or someone to shut him the fuck up. When they're talking about, you know, this is ridiculous. I can't believe he sent the, you know, and then he walks out. Oh, what did you want to say? No, come on, tell me. Oh, you're a coward. Wow. Dude, he fucking knows you're gonna fire him and probably like do other things to really punish him if he speaks his mind, and you're gonna be like that because you don't listen. You didn't fucking listen to Kirsch. You know, you didn't listen. Let's see, was it Dame who protested against the hybrids being sent in? You know, he doesn't fucking listen, and then he's like, "Oh, what did you want to say to me?" He's acting like a child. He's, you know, Utani also said he's, you know, Prodigy. It's a new company. It's run by a child. You know, I doubt anyone thinks of him as not being like a child. You know, and right, and he also has the thing about, you know, a child's mind. You know, what's the line? Infinite imagination. Is that a reference to like Willy Wonka? I feel is that the line? Infinite imagination. Just there's something similar to that at least. But and yeah, there is some truth to it. You know, it is this thing of like, you know, once we by the time we become adults, society has done a number on us, and we don't just let our imagination flow freely anymore. You know. Savvy Writes Books has done really excellent work encouraging us to, you know, I'm trying myself. I'm trying to be more imaginative and just let it, because like I think she was the one who said that we should never stop playing. You know, adulthood should not mean that we never play. Like, you know, we have other responsibilities, sure, but then when we have a leisure time, we can spend some of that playing. I think that is almost everything. Morrow. You know, he pulls guns on them and like pats them down. Then he's like, you know, he puts the gun away because like he doesn't consider them a threat. And he's like, "You're children." And they're like, "No, we're not." You know, because it's again coding and yeah, and he can tell that there's some machine going on with them, and he's like, when is a machine not a machine? And, you know, he does the download, erases all the data, which is also interesting. This does mean that, like, if Prodigy learns that he has all the data, they're going to want to try to take him alive, and he's going to put up a fight, you know, so that could also really add a new dimension, new element to the upcoming, you know, because, yeah, like, it is this sort of war or maybe skirmishes, but yeah, there is a conflict between these companies and, you know, regular human beings, and you know, synths and hybrids are just caught in the middle of these, you know, fucking children just playing. I think, does that pretty well cover, shit, what was the other thing? Right. So yeah, he that was also a really cool look. The uploading with the flashing, blinking, I guess, lights. You know what I'm talking about. And then we have the, yeah, he gets a little too fucking close to the egg and it starts reacting and he gets a little bit away from it. And Kirsch, talking to him and, yeah, again, just really great stuff. I love the bit with the, 3 laws of robotics. Yeah, I don't really have anything to add. It's already spelled out very nicely in the IMDb trivia for this episode. But yeah, love seeing more Asimov references. And as trivia notes, it's not the first time, Aliens notes that, they don't name drop Asimov, but it's a very, it couldn't be a more overt reference. They might as well have said, our manufacturer, Isaac Asimov, made sure that we, yeah. Anyway, I think, right, and the thing with, we're not kids, no, shh. For once he finally got to a point where he can keep a fucking secret. Yeah, Morrow jumps, which is, again, a clever, because, we know he can survive the jump as a cyborg. He... shit, what was the other thing? Hypothetically, let's say Kirsch jumps after. How can he be sure that Morrow wasn't waiting for him to do that, standing with his gun ready to shoot? He can shoot him right after he's landed, or even as he's in the air if he's a good enough shot, So, yeah, and he does manage to plant the little thing so that they can communicate. God, that's fucked. So fucking creepy. Yeah, he gets out and starts stealing food. So, does still need the cyborgs do need food. And I like that pooping was one of the, we no longer, there's certain things we no longer do, like pooping. Okay, TMI. Yeah, I think, and I guess that is also coded. I think that does run. So yeah, he manages to get a cell phone and calls and codes in and everything. And he's like, no, I'm trying to talk to Yutani, though. And, she's like, oh, Mr. Morrow, you're used to my grandmother. It's been 65 years. That... God fucking damn it. Okay, so let's try to unpack. She's just inherited, like her mother did before her. At one point, a Yutani, exploited some people, got to be CEO, became rich, and now it's just inherited. It has nothing to do with skill, it's just bloodline. They might as well be fucking kings, which that was also a fantastic line. Okay, brief diversion. I don't talk to errand boys. What country are you king of again? Great line, and I think it is meant to make us think of oh yeah, I mean, these corporations, it is kind of like they're kings, this fucking feels like when there's historical, where 2 fucking brothers are gonna fight each other and try to kill each other because, only one of them can be king. And it's like, God fucking damn it, do you not see how harmful patriarchy is? You're willing to become a brother fucker just to... Jesus Christ, it's so fucked. God damn it. And then, finally we got, after a very long time of women being abused under patriarchy, then we got feminism. And misogynistic men have been whining about feminism ever since, even though feminism is also helping us men. Jesus Christ, MRA is talking about, oh, men actually, suicide more than the women. And then, if you look at the stats, I mean, women do attempt suicide at a, I think it's around the same rate as men. They're just less likely to succeed. That's not, a sign that, that's just a sign that, when men attempt, they are more likely to succeed. That doesn't mean that women aren't also, anyway. But yeah, trying to make things better, and all these fucking misogynists trying to slow them down because they can't handle the idea that a woman would make things better in a way that a man doesn't. Listen, we had thousands of fucking years of men ruling, and look at what we fucking did with it. Yeah, I really, really think it's time to let women have a lot of influence. I think, basically, ideally equal, they should be able to present their ideas, and when their ideas are better than our ideas, their ideas should be carried out, let's see. Not talking about, like, oh, women rule and men be like slaves. That's, again, like, yeah, like some rad femmes want that, but it's not mainstream feminism. But mainstream, like, anti-feminism, yeah, extremely harmful. Hates women and wants us men to keep suffering as well for no good fucking reason. Just, Jesus Christ. Back to the unpacking. Yeah. He's back on Earth, but it's like, how much does he even recognize it, He talks about, if he, like, the human, and I don't really have much more to say at that than what's already in IMDb trivia, but it's just so well written, so clever, so well delivered. It's just perfect. Did I already mention? No, yeah, shit. I said that earlier. Anyway, yes. So and they talk about, it's just, she's like, well, you should have read your contract. Because she doesn't give a shit. Because CEOs don't want what's best for us. They just, yeah, the selfishness is really well communicated here. Like, you can just look at what actual CEOs say and do, like, remember when it came out that, like, Amazon workers, their time, was so extremely closely monitored that, some of them had to resort to peeing in bottles so that they wouldn't get behind schedule. And then, let's see, I forget the exact detail of the response, but there was something like, oh, they shouldn't do that, instead of just saying, oh, shit, we got to make sure that they have long enough breaks that they don't feel that they have to do that, remember when one of them dropped fucking dead because he was overworked, and then the others just had to keep fucking working? Like, Jesus Christ, like, yeah, like, this is like early industrialism, people falling into the machines, and yeah, the industrialists not giving a shit because, like, well, there's more people, like, yeah, get someone else, get more human capital to Jesus Christ. And yeah, ultimately Morrow's not even like, he's not even like mad, he's just pointing it out. And she just kind of assumes, oh, this is another complaint, well, I better give the standard line, Love the shots from outside, showing her lavish place. I'm slightly unclear on if it's office or home, but lavish, certainly. Her place is. And we've just seen, yeah, regular people live in not very pleasant places, and yeah, we see the outside when Morrow is walking down, like, it doesn't really look super good, it's like, it's serviceable, it's capitalism, it just barely works, and then you have to pay for a new one, kind of thing. I think that might just about cover. I feel like I've talked about everything. Okay, so with Boy, we see, yeah, it genuinely is just running thing. Human beings cannot fucking help shoving their face right up against the egg, even as you see it opening. The sound design on that fucker, goddamn, and the way it starts to open, and Kirsch has more self-control than I would. He grabs him and just pushes him out. And Boy's like, what are you doing? He's saving your goddamn life. That's what he's fucking doing. You asshole of the highest order. Like, Jesus Christ. God damn, I feel bad for the actor. I hope he gets to play something where we, the audience, are like, what a wonderful person, you know. But God damn, he's doing a wonderful. I hope he's not feeling bad about playing such an asshole and how much we hate his character. But Jesus Christ, I mean, I'm not the only one, right, that hates his character. Maybe I'm the only one who hates him quite this much, but God damn. But yeah, and then we see the egg close again. Very nicely done on that. I think. Right, and yeah, Moro stating to Yutani, this is my life's work. I will get those specimens back. You know, so basically he called to tell her that. You know, he's not trying to complain or make excuses or anything. And, you know, that is the thing. Like, well, 65 years, like, he spent all this time just on that. There's nothing he can... Yeah, it's like, without the specimens, what does he have? His life has no meaning. He has no identity. So just wonderfully done. They're so credible. You know, like, obviously part of it is like, you know, Cyborg, but like company man. You know, he identifies 100%. It's that thing of like, you know, when you're here, your family. Oh wait, shit, that's Olive Garden. But yeah, a number of companies will talk about like, oh, your family members that I have complete control over as your boss, and I can fire you at any time. I might do it for no good reason. You might have no recourse, but we're family. Please stay. That's not a request. Way longer than you're actually required to. Maybe sleep in here, and then, you know, the Babylon Bee will use that as an excuse to say, oh, you know, all those people that Musk fired and then later had to rehire because he didn't know what the fuck he was doing from Twitter. Yeah, they weren't really working that hard. You know how young people just don't want to work, or God fucking damn it. I hate propaganda. Anyway, yes. That brings us back to the eggs. So the fuck. Oh, it's so fucked. So yeah, they have the thing, you know, ready to you know, suck it out, suck it up, Buttercup, and he cuts a hole in the side of the egg and then goes through like slime and like, yeah, that's not something we've seen before. I love that this is able to find things to do with the various xenomorph stages that we've never fucking seen before. Just, yeah. Right, also the bit where they're like sticking into it and like acid pours out and just, yeah, very, very nicely done. And yeah, you know, he cuts into, you know, and the reversal, the power imbalance being shifted there. He takes the facehugger out of the egg. You know, usually it's the facehugger jumping out of the egg directly onto a face to hug it. And he has the power. You know, he just puts it down, zaps it a couple of times so it won't move, cuts it open, and gets out the little egg thing, you know. And they cut the fucking chest out of and put it in a jar, and then they put the little egg in so they can see it and fucking study it. And it's, god damn it. And again, like we've seen this thing of like, oh, you know, Wayland, or the company wants to right. That was also a good thing when I talk about prodigy, child genius, you know. And that is also, you know, he sees himself as a prodigy, even though like, how fucking like, what has he done to earn the title of genius? Like, he keeps making really bad decisions and then blaming others when they just report, you know, like, well, the stupid, you know, the thing you did that you should have known not to do didn't work out, and we're trying to clean up, but it's taking a while. And he's like, well, I don't have all day. Fake news. It's very Trumpy and musky. there's I detect a certain musk of an Elon there. But yeah, I look forward to seeing that because it's one of those things like is Alien. We know it's probably the Xeno's gonna get out of their control even if they have it under control for even a second, you know. But and that is also a cool like, you know, we've gotten 3 episodes with an adult Xeno. I am glad that we're gonna get, you know, I don't know how much time they're gonna spend with the, because I mean the chest burster I guess might be stuck in that jar, but if they feed it and just like try to study it when it grows to full size, yeah, it's gonna bust right out of that thing. And then there's gonna be a Xeno loose inside Prodigy offices. Yeah, that's gonna be really fucking cool. I can hardly wait. I think is that everything? That might be everything. God, it's fucked that they just fucking ignore. I mean, they must notice she falls hard and very close to them, but they just ignore Wendy when she walks out there and just collapses. I thought it was good detail that Joe vomits blood and like collapses also, because like, yeah, it's an ordeal, you know. I feel like there's another. Is there maybe one more thing? Just can't really think of what it would be. I don't know. If I think of more, I'll put it in the next video. But yeah, I think they're doing such a good job of this, like these distinctions between cyborgs, synths, and hybrids. And the right. I could also imagine that maybe Morrow is going to, you know, become like, well, Yutani would really appreciate it. I am a company man. If I found out about the hybrids before anyone else, maybe even, you know, capture one, and I don't think he would necessarily have too much of a problem accomplishing that, but, you know, getting them back out of the building, because they don't leave it much, you know, like they left it for this crash, but other than that, they've been, you know, it's not always in that building specifically, but as far as I can tell, they haven't really left, not hybrid, prodigies, you know, what's the word? The places they own. Like, I think that island, or I guess, I don't know if it's a fucking island, the beach where Wendy raced Dame, I felt like that was probably one of their, you know, it was near one of their facilities or something like that. It was land they owned. And it was just like, well, we gotta let her get out, get some air. Or maybe they didn't even say that, but they just realized, oh, she left. And so they found her. I think the surgery bit was so fucked. Like, goddamn. And I think they did a really good job. They showed just enough that it's disturbing and really, like, yeah, gory and unsettling, but not so much that it just becomes numbing. You know, I know I've mentioned before. Maybe I need to find another example, but there is a lot of violence and gore in Jason X. You know, it's R-rated and everything. I think most of it doesn't really have an effect. Some of that is the effects. You know, some way too much CG, which is also something I really appreciate here. They clearly go for practical whenever they can. Like, that is, they are actually poking at a, like think about how much fucking work the effects people had to do to make, okay, they had to make a face hugger that moves. They had to make the part where, like, stuff comes out when he pokes that, like, little goo comes out. They have to make it so that there's the little thing that he can pick up. Yeah, like, it's a fucking lot. And such a horrifying idea that they cut the chest out of I mean, that was a human being, right? It looked like the chest of a human being. And it is also, like, I think that is what they're testing for, you know? And we saw they had other test animals in there, also. Yeah, and yeah, they're still doing a really great job balancing some sweet stuff with the you know, the more dark stuff. Um, you know, and it is that thing, like, you know, it's in part about children in the bodies of adults and with like computer brains and these funky abilities and shit. And it's like there's always been like metaphors for like life. Like in the original, it's like the life cycle. You know, in the second one, it's this thing of like mother protecting her children, some child with Ripley and Newt and the Queen and the Xenos, and yeah, you know, surrogate, you know, step mother, daughter, whatever. You know what I'm fucking talking about. I hate when people get pedantic. If your birth parents are terrible and you find, you know, you have found family, that found family is valid. It's better, you know. Family is defined by love, not blood. But the yeah, the way that children experience the world is very much a theme in these 3 episodes. And sometimes it's sweet and there's friends and you're playing, like one of them's making a fucking paper airplane, you know, and one of them's like drawing the terrible xenomorph that he saw, like, you know, which again coded. But there's also dark stuff, you know. There's uncertainty, there's fear and anxiety, you know, like there's that thing about the monster under the bed or in the closet or that sort of thing, you know. And like one of them even verbalizes it. What if that cyborg breaks in and like kills us in our sleep? You know, and that is again, like, to be clear, that is also a fear that some adults have, you know. But yeah, that sounds like something that a child might also think of. You know, like a child's not necessarily going to think of, like, let's see. I don't think a child. Shit. Let's see. No, I mean, maybe I can't think of a good example, but you know, there are some very specific things that children are afraid of. Yeah. Uh, God, I fucking love this show. I'm so glad it's yeah. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I guess see you in a week if these are the only videos of mine you watch, which is fine, of course. I think some of my other videos are very good as well, but you do you. It was great to see that, yeah, for as dry as the Xeno itself is, though I think it was the egg, very nice and wet. Nice wet puppet. I'm sure that maybe Scaredy Cats will do a video on the show at some point and talk about the wet puppets and the lack of wetness on the Xeno puppet. Thought Slime just did a fantastic video, one of the best I've seen, on Israel. Fuck, what was it called again? Plucky Little Israel or something like that. But if you do a search here on YouTube for Thought Slime Israel, it'll come up, I'm sure. Yeah, just fan-fucking-tastic. Yeah, I think that is that everything? Right, the bit where so you know, Secret Keeper is you know, conversing with the cyborg, and you know, the cyborg is like, we'll talk tomorrow. Dude, I think you're confused. Based on your name and the fact that he's, you know, engaged in communication with you verbally, he's already talking tomorrow.